of faith is disturbing.
Believe it.
What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 420 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Jonathan Nichols.
What's up?
And I was going to make, unsavory joke there, but I'm a good Christian boy. I actually, we were talking about this before the podcast, and 420 for those who are not getting that. There was an Easter. I think this last Easter was 420 as well, wasn't it?
I think so.
But I lived in Denver, and so obviously 420 was a very big deal in Denver. And so I was at church, and it was Easter, and the pastor gets up, and he's like, I want to thank everyone who made it out today. We also know what other holiday it is. We do have snacks in the back. If you get munchies, you just let us know. And I thought it was the funniest thing that, but that's the church way. That's the Christian way. Like, we know what you're about. We just want you to know, we got some food in the back. You're welcome in. Maybe you'll hear the gospel while you're here.
I was trying to quickly find a surprise Pikachu emoji, but I don't have one.
Oh, for the Twitch stream. Yeah, if you don't know, we've been doing these live on Twitch at on Mondays around 8 o'clock. We're not perfectly at 8. It's usually like 8:15 or so. But you are more than welcome to come watch the podcast live that way. But also, obviously, you can also hear it here in a much cleaner, clearer format, I feel like, when Jonathan has it all polished up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this week we're geeking out about Palworld, Batman, and Squid Games 4. It's like almost like Fast and Furious. You thought it was going to be over 3 movies in, but it just keeps on.
It's about family.
Yeah. Family games. Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really funny that the first season was all about like down with capitalism and how bad capitalism is, and then they're just like capitalizing on the show.
No comment.
But we can we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about the games that we've been playing. I haven't actually played any video games. I played a board game, but I'll let you talk about your video games first.
I've been ADHD gaming and been jumping between 2 different games. So I got Mafia 3 for free through Prime Gaming.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I've never beat it. And then I started playing it, and then something triggered in my brain. I was like, oh, I never beat LA Noir either.
Okay.
So I downloaded it, and so I've been just bouncing between them. And
I've never played LA Noir. I've played it a little bit, but I've never actually I've never owned the game, so I've never played a lot of it. It looks cool.
It's really good, but you have to set your monitor to a certain refresh rate on the PC version, because it will actually just crash the game, because it's not, I think it's technically 30 frames per second, but you can get away with 60, but because it was made on like the 360 era hardware, and so all the faces are basically they're like 3D scans, and so they just photo scanned the real actors, and they're just like plastered onto a 3D model, and so the animation's not that fast, so it's not like 60 frames or higher fast. So
right.
But yeah, so it took me a minute because I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I would crash, and I would lose all my save progress. And then
it sounds really frustrating.
Yeah, I went to Reddit, and they're like, hey, fix this. So a little bit annoying, but it's not bad.
Well, how's the game itself? Still holding up, I take it?
Yeah, I actually think it does. It's basically Rockstar published it, and so you can tell like there's Grand Theft Auto DNA in it. It's like the driving, which is like so wild to me, because you're like this cop, but you can like drift corners and like just crash through people, and I may or may not have failed a mission because I was drifting and just mowed down like 5 people on the sidewalk because I lost control. So it's good though. I mean, the facial capture was like a decade ahead of its time, and so when you're actually interrogating people, you have to watch their eye movements or like way their eyebrows move, their nose move, like they'll do
Mhm.
stuff. And so there's true. They're telling the truth, they're lying, or they're misleading, or so you can doubt, and then you can just accuse them of lying. And so
I've seen the meme of press X for doubt.
yeah, and so that's kind of the safe bet. You can always just doubt, and it kind of gives you like the in between. So like
Okay.
there's the two extremes, and then doubt's like the middle, where sometimes it won't fail the interview with them, and I fail a lot because I'm like, no, they're lying, and I'll click it, and they're not, or they are lying, but I don't have the evidence to back it. So then when you accuse them, you have to have all this evidence, and so you have to like
I
pick
was
the
saying, I
right.
would assume that you would need to know they're lying to call them out for lying.
Yeah, so you'll have like a notebook, and it'll have like 10 things you found at the crime scene, and then you have to like figure out which one is actually going to pin them. And
Yeah.
so um, I don't always pick the right one, but
I think it's time for a sequel to that game.
I agree.
Because Detroit Become Human, I know isn't the exact same concept, but it's got that kind of idea behind it. I think I love Detroit Become Human. I know they're not the same game, but just in that concept of like choosing and interacting with characters based on how they're reacting and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit dated. The graphics are a little bit dated, um, and sometimes like their head looks like it's floating because all they would motion capture was the neck up. And so it's
What
like
was the thing?
so like the body looks like it's moving weird, and like the head like does this weird thing where you can see like into the textures, like there's a gap, so it's like empty
That's
space.
funny.
But I think it's held up pretty good. I think with the new motion capture technology, they could
Hmm.
do a really good sequel.
That'd be cool. Well, like I said, I've been playing a board game. We have played. I guess I've only played once. Well, I've been playing two board games. I'll talk a little bit about that. I kind of forgot. The first one is Wyrmspan, and for those who know what Wingspan is, this is the sequel to Wyrmspan, or sequel to Wingspan. Wingspan is an engine building game in which you are trying to hatch birds because those birds will give you like resources to hatch more birds, and the point of the game is to have as many points. And your bird cards have points on them. So this is a very similar idea. Wyrmspan is about dragons, not worms, you would think. Um, and it's all these dragons. And it's so funny because like the bird cards had actual like bird facts on them, Wyrmspan just has fake dragon facts on them for all the dragon types, which is really great. All the dragons have really great names. I think its biggest selling point to me is the really beautiful art. It's got this kind of watercolor look to it, and the player mats are beautiful. You can just Google image Wyrmspan and find some of the art stuff. But it is not a game that I'm good at by any means. Got a friend that's been playing with us, and then my wife, and those two are really good at it. And I do okay, but I will kind of hyperfixate on one like objective because there are different objectives in the game, and then find myself losing because I didn't like. I always feel like if I go for all three, I'm gonna lose all three. If I really get
Mm.
one down, then I'll for sure win that one, and it usually ends up like not working out for me. The other game that I've been playing, I totally spaced on it, is Nephitoffel. Me and my wife have been playing Nephitoffel every single night, basically, for the last like 3 weeks, maybe longer. Jonathan, you need to come over sometime and play some Nephitoffel with me.
I have no idea what that is, but sure.
Yeah, it is I believe it's 300 years. I think it predates chess by 300 years, if I'm not mistaken. But Nephitoffel is a Viking chess, is what I always call it. It's very unique. It's got these It's got two teams. You have black and your white, but they have two different objectives. So the black is coming in and trying to capture the king,
Okay.
and the king is trying to escape either to the outer blocks or to the outer corners, depending on the rules. That's been a really weird thing that we've learned, is that Hnefatafel has some like basic understood rules to it, but they don't actually know how it was played, because they didn't find the board with instruction booklets. They found the board like just in ruins with the pieces.
So I'm looking at this. Yeah. So is it like
If
space? Is it
and
like
this will not make sense for some people, but every piece plays like a rook, like a castle in chess. You don't capture by jumping on the opponent. You have to corner them on either side. Not corner is not the right word, but you need to be on either side of them. And then if you move into a slot that's got two of them, then it's gonna be really hard to understand in audio. But if you can slide up into two of them and you won't get taken. Someone has to actually come to you and take you. But what I'm really loving about it, and then there's other rules where you can only move it one block at a time if you want to play that way, which I can't imagine doing that. You can play, it's called Berserk, where you can move a piece to take another piece, and then you can move it again as long as it'll take another piece. So you can create this like chain reaction. There's a move that is called the shield wall. And that is when you take all of your pieces and you surround a group of the pieces, and you can take all of them. But there's all these variations because no one knows how to play it. And so we play very basically. We play pretty traditional it's called historical Hnefatafel. And that is, I don't remember the blocks. But it's 11 pieces and no, it's 12 pieces and 13 pieces, I think, is what it is.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at the board and I could tell I can see how you could play it with Battlefield Tactics, like actual strategy.
Hnefatafel historical.
It's such a fun word.
I'm trying to think of how many pieces there are that we play as. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pieces versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12.
It translates to fist
1324.
table.
Fist table, okay. 1324, that's how we play. And people who play Hnefatafel will know that. We play 1324. We play the historical layout, I believe. And then the way that me and my wife play is that you have to get to the outer corner. The outer corners are hostile, and only the king can land in the corners. Because we found if you did only to the corners, then the black team could just literally cover them up, and you would lose. It would be really easy to beat people, and so they are hostile, and you can't land in there unless you're the king. It gives us the most challenge. But I love what I can do with this is, say like if I play you, I would probably let you play as white because it's a little bit easier to play as. White almost always wins, even now as me and my wife have gotten better at it. But you will only have to get to the outer wall. I won't make you get to the corner.
Okay.
And so it makes the game really easy to learn. And then as you've like beaten me there, then we can, ramp up the rules.
Then
so
you
it's
can
like an
punish
easy
me.
mode to a hard mode. Yeah, yeah. But it allows like almost like a handicap, which like there's no other game that really does that. I think chess, you'd have to take pieces away or something, and it would really mess up the game. Whereas this, like there's just these easier difficulties. I think it's really cool.
So there is a PC version on Steam.
Nice.
Cool.
I play it a lot on my phone. And then we actually had to make our own rules for the one on my phone. But it was cool that it allowed me to do that. I was able to edit the I'm now looking at Hnefatafel on Steam. Is the $1.49 one or the $2.99? There's a few Hnefatafels.
I was looking at the $2.99 one, but
Okay, so literally the $2.99 one's the one I have on my phone. It's free on mobile.
okay.
And allows you, like I said, to make your own rules if you want to play it differently. But no, super cool game. The AIs for the one you're looking at are very aggressive.
Okay.
It took me a while to beat the easy, but now I've beaten 3 of the AIs, so I'm getting better. My plan is, T and I, if we don't get tired of it, is next Renaissance season, I may go to the FOF booth, Friends of Fair for those who don't know, and just like chill at the table and play people all day.
You get a real chess, like the real board.
Yeah, well, with me and my wife, we have like an actual. It's like she made it, and then we just bought pawns from Hobby Lobby,
Oh, okay.
and it's just like a whole bunch of pawns, and then we painted the ones we needed black, and then I bought a square cube that's made of wood. That's all made of wood, and the square cube is my king.
That's cool. That's really cool.
But yeah, no, I can totally. I got a board. You come over sometime, and I'll play you some Hennefettafel. Also, I will say too, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This is a word that I've read before I heard it. And I actually don't know if I've actually heard it correctly yet, so Hennefettafel it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't speak Norse, so it sounds good to me.
Yeah, ancient Norse specifically.
I will say there's a when I googled it, it was like how to pronounce this.
Oh, well, there you go.
I didn't look at it yet, but
Probably not the way that Cody pronounces it, if I were to guess.
should we find out?
Sure. Hennefettafel. While you're looking at how to pronounce the word, we'll move into the gaming news. I don't know how quickly you're gonna be able to pull that up. I'll keep going. There's
You said it right.
Did I? Oh, go me. Hennefettafel. Saying it just like Ragnar Lothbrok did.
Mm-hmm.
I should have said. Should have said it just like Ragnar Lothbrok said. I made some historian mad just now.
Yeah.
Or Bjorn Ironside. Yeah, we'll go to the gaming news. What's going on with Palworld?
So Palworld and Terraria are doing a kind of like a mix-up mashup pack. It's not really what it's called, but it kind of reminds me of when Minecraft used to do that. When they would
it's weird that it's like an update for the game, but also a crossover. I don't know enough about Terraria for me to understand like the references to Terraria.
It's adding some of the dungeons that has enemies from Terraria. It's got 6 new weapons and 7 new armor pieces from Terraria. Moonlord, Raid Boss. PS5 dedicated servers. Fishing. There's a new salvage system, new islands, mission systems. Man, there's a lot.
Are you fishing for pals or are you fishing for fish? And that's a really important question.
That is a great question.
I don't think it answers that. Yeah, I don't think it answers that. We'll get back to you. But I hope you're fishing for pals. I'll be kind of bummed, honestly, if you're fishing for fish.
Yeah.
Like, don't you kill pals in this for food, for meat? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I played it when it first came out, and it's been like 2 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I want to fish pals and then eat them. Because that's just on brand.
It's also kind of dark, but
I remember Pokemon. There was a whole question of like whether or not are they eating Pokemon or are they eating food? And I think we decided on that they were eating food or Pokemon.
Yeah. That's the side of Pokemon you don't see in the cartoons.
Yeah, well, no, I mean in the cartoons. In the cartoons, they were eating like a Magikarp, and it was on a skewer.
Oh.
And I was like, of all the fish Pokemon, why Magikarp?
I never really got that far in the cartoon, but
yeah, I could be. I there might be some mixed signals there. I can't remember. I remember seeing this debate because I was like, is the beef Tauros? Like, I really don't know. But yeah, it's a question they should never answer.
Never. Oh, yep. Nom nom pals. Um, so on to our next story. Ready or Not is not ready for these reviews apparently. So Ready or Not is a tactical FPS game that is basically a SWAT simulator, and you're basically uh going to violent disturbances, domestic disputes, human
Really quick
trafficking.
before you get into the really dark stuff, they do eat Pokemon in the anime. I made sure. There was a delicious looking Krabby in the photo.
Okay, that's also dark. So,
Yeah, okay.
on brand. So anyway, this game is basically the whole idea was to not censor what active duty law enforcement and special first responders actually deal with. And so there's some really dark themes in this game. I actually didn't realize how dark it went until they tried to put it on console, and they could not actually put it on console because the rating was adult only. So they had to legally drop the rating and kind of cover up some certain nude bodies and some explicit images that may or may not be of minors. So I
Pretty wild that like at Borderlines, I know that's animation. I would assume that it's still illegal.
Yeah, so it was at the edge, so like they wouldn't cross that line, but there was some other stuff involving kids that's why they had to do some censoring as well. Um, that's all the devs are
Hmm,
claiming, but it's been getting review bombed. Legitimately,
that's crazy.
um, people are really upset. I kind of understand why, because it was basically touted as this like hyper realistic simulator, and they feel like it's being censored. I don't really know. I don't know where I stand on it just yet because I don't fully understand everything that's being censored.
Hmm.
Um, but it's a dark game. It's deals with a lot of heavy elements that a lot of law enforcement officers actually deal with to a certain extent, and so I guess people just feel betrayed that they won't see some of those same things. I don't really understand the outrage, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, do you need to see that?
yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it's weird because it's something that has probably scarred someone for life, in real life, and then people are mad like, I wanted to be scarred for life.
and our chat did bring up a good point. Is so they're also censoring the PC version and not the console version, or they're censoring both. So the censorship is for the console
Okay.
version, and then they're just bringing it over to PC because it's crossplay. So I think it's also why people on PC are upset. But um,
Okay. That, yeah, I can kind of get that. I guess still weird, but like, I
yeah,
can
I mean,
understand you bought a game, especially if you paid for a game and then it is different than what you paid for, in a drastic way.
yeah, and again, like I'm going off of Game Rant's article and going over what the devs are saying is being censored. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't actually seem that bad. Like what they're doing, I don't even
Mm.
know why it was in the game in the first place.
Yeah.
Because there was some pretty intense stuff, and but at the same time, like I think there was some gore they're censoring, which is whatever. Like I don't know why they're even censoring. There's far worse games gore wise. I think Red Dead had worse gore than this game does, and it was on PC or and PC and console. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm just going off of the little bit that they've talked about. Oh, here it is. So dismemberment is still present, but it only occurs while enemies are alive. So apparently, um, you could just dismember people if they're dead. That's I. Torture visuals were slightly toned down.
Like a real SWAT team person.
Yeah. Some nudity was reduced. Civilian suspect coverage. Violent animations involving children were softened.
Mm.
So yeah, evidence textures on console were modified to be less explicit, and that had to do with the minors. So it was basically like photos of evidence was less explicit, and then but implications remain clear. So if that's all they did, I don't know why people would be that mad about it. I think this member bit's kind of stupid because again, Red Dead Redemption 2 had like intense amounts
Yeah.
of gore and then no one cared. But
Mortal Kombat.
yeah. But even the comment on this this post was like, yeah, I had it on my Steam cart, but now it's getting censored, then I'm not buying it. Okay, like I don't
Weird.
know.
Super odd. Cool. Well, we'll get into movies then. I did not see any movies this week.
I didn't either. Been real busy.
Just awkwardly transition to the movie news then.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I'm really excited for Superman. I saw a little clip. From I think it was in a public clip, but it was Superman like barging into Lex's office, and he's like, "Where's the dog?" And then like breathes for a second. He's like, "He's just a dog, man." It's so good.
I loved it, but people are so mad about that for some reason. Like people are like, "That's not Superman. He wouldn't get mad." Oh, like,
really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the whole point of it. Is like Superman doesn't get mad. And he's like, but it's dog.
Mm-hmm. Goes full John Wick over a dog.
Yeah. That's it's perfect. I need to see the Karate Kid movie too. I still haven't seen that, but like you said, it's been really busy. It's been a busy summer. Summer's kind of flying by for me. But anyways, we'll go into movie news. Speaking of Superman, Batman 2 script is finished.
Finally. About 3 years. 3 years late, but it's almost.
Although James Gunn said it like a few weeks ago, he was like, Matt Reeves is slow, man. Give him time. Like, he's got this. And he's not wrong. There's a lot of theory running around that the reason it took so long is because they were trying to shoehorn it into James Gunn's universe. I don't know yet. I don't have an opinion on that. I guess it makes sense, but also like Matt Reeves is really slow. I don't know if you'd want him slow making Batman movies.
So I actually read an article, and their take on it was that they hope that they'll still be separate, but kind of the Batman 2 will kind of hint like they could take it, and
Okay.
but they're because it's taken so long for them to get it out. It's been like 5 years, not quite 5 years, 3 years, but it'll be 5 years.
But we had a penguin in the middle of that.
So was it 2022 when it came out, and then it'd be 2027 before it releases. And so the whole thing was
Batman came out before that.
So yeah,
Batman might have been 2019.
So let's see.
When did Batman come out?
I think it was according to Google, 2022.
Really?
So,
my whole brain's broken. I thought it was like pre me moving to Arkansas, which would have been like 2019. Huh. Okay. It's newer than I thought it was. So it's only been 3 years.
And then 2 more years. So 2027. I think it's the
yeah, it'll be a while.
So yeah, 5 years. So,
but again, there was a whole Penguin show made between then.
That's fair.
It's a lot of writing.
But they could totally make
people need to leave him alone.
Like he's older. He has a Robin. I don't know. Tie it in.
You had mentioned this way back when we first started podcasting, that you think that it would be really cool to, and I agree, have this be completely separate, make it an Elseworld, but then put Pattinson in the DCU as like a separate storyline. So they're parallel, which is what they do in the comics all the time.
Yeah.
They would be parallel stories. And that's kind of the point of Elseworlds is you can do that. And I think that would be really neat. It would be confusing to some viewers, but I think Pattinson's Batman could work really well with the Superman they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Joker for Matt Reeves' Batman, but I don't think that Joker would work for
Yeah,
James Gunn's.
and what's funny about that is like maybe 2-3 days ago, James Gunn had an interview when he was doing his press tour for Superman, and he said that they don't want to do a campy Batman; they want to do a dark and serious Batman. And so that started
Mhm.
like everyone's like neurons started firing off because they're like, oh, how could the Batman 2 fit in? Then it was like, oh, the script's finished like a day after he said that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I saw it too. It was like, how do we make a dark and gritty Batman without doing, which is what Matt Reeves is already doing. And I was like, yeah, I, I'm really hoping. I really love this idea of like the Superman I've heard is just '90s cartoon in live action. It's like a live action remake of the '90s animation stuff. And
Yeah.
so for me, I think like he should really just stick to that. Like really take like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and take that inspiration. And then I'm not saying Batman needs to wear underwear, but like have that kind of dark and gritty Batman, but it's also like can fit in that world still. I don't know if Robert Pattinson's Batman is smart enough to be in James Gunn's universe, but you could, if he's an Elseworlds thing, and then you have it be like Robert Pattinson plays that character in DC's universe, then it could be a different Batman that is smarter.
Yeah. I kind of hope he wears the trunks, the underwear. This is going to get into some deep cut nerd theory, but I always like the idea that like his costumes are just camouflage. So they're like they're big splotches of color. So like the black, gray. So it's kind of like the colors you would
Okay.
see at night in a city. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he needs the trunks. It just breaks up his pattern more. Even though
Yeah.
it's so silly, but I think they should do it. That's his
Uh,
excuse.
I love it was I think it was Kevin Conroy when asked like what the best Batman or I think like what the scariest Batman outfit would be. I don't remember what the question was like, specifically, but he was like, "Dude, if I had to choose a Batman outfit, it'd be Adam West." He was like, a Batman all armored up and coming at you is kind of scary, but a crazy guy in spandex running at you, that's terrifying. Batman has no fear.
He basically breaks the fourth wall too. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
Deadpool Batman before Deadpool.
It's so good. I mean, I can't imagine. Yeah. I would be terrified if a man came at me in an Adam West outfit. And it was like, I'm going to break your arm for justice.
And then
I
every
won't
time
kill you, but the medical bills will.
somehow transcends space and time, so every time he breaks your arm, it just like the sound appears written in the air.
Kapow. I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all speculation on our part, but I think the best route would be, like you said, to do the two different universes, but the same Batman.
That's wishful thinking, but
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It would allow them so much more freedom if they just like were like viewers are just gonna have to live with it. And we'd be like, okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll get into TV. You mentioned Squid Games. I have only watched an episode. So for me and the viewers, don't spoil it. I really don't have much to say. It just felt like more like Squid Game season 2. Like as far as the production and the quality and the story writing and the acting, it's all great. It just felt like a continuation of season 2 in a lot of ways. The one episode I watched.
It definitely. So for me, it kind of, without going to spoilers, it did what season 2 did for me, where it's like it feels like season 1, and then it shifts in a good way.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like it's kind of what it does.
Cool.
I don't know how to go into that without spoilers, so I probably should stop talking.
That's fair enough.
But
was it good? You enjoyed it?
Kind of.
Okay.
So
he's like, I need to stop talking about it. I'm like, no, there's more.
yeah, I need to stop talking about it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm really excited to watch the rest of it. We're gonna get into a news piece in a minute that'll kind of dive into what you're wanting to talk about anyway. So maybe there's snippets there that you can You can add it without spoiling anything. I feel like it's gonna be very difficult not to. It's a show based on shock factor, and so really hard not to talk about a show based on shock factor without spoiling the shocking parts of it.
Yeah.
I also watched Ironheart though, and I don't know. I watched the first 2 episodes, and watching those first 2 episodes, I was like, wow, the writing is really forced in this show. Like, it was super forced. There's a line about a car, and he's saying to Riri, he's like, used to sit in that old trash Barracuda. Where's that at anyways? And it was like, I think I just worded it more naturally than he worded it. Like, it felt like an AI like wrote it.
That's awful. I won't watch
Yeah.
it. I have no interest in watching it.
Really?
Yeah, it just I think it's just Marvel's writing in general on their shows.
Mhm.
I just don't enjoy it, and so I was like, I have nothing against the character. I think the character's cool in the comics, but I'm just not, something about it did not intrigue me.
Huh. Well, watch Daredevil still.
Oh, I will. I will.
That said, so there were 3 episodes that were released. Those were the first 2 episodes. I was like, this writing is getting like, this is just really forced. The dialogue gets better in episode 3. I just don't think the dialogue is necessarily good. But that said, episode 3 of the show was a great episode. Even if the dialogue wasn't well written, the story itself was really well written. There are surprises that I didn't see coming. Things kind of unfold in a way that I didn't think would happen. And so I'm excited in that sense. There's a lot more going on than, how do I put that? It felt very Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel in its writing, and it's kind of, I guess it's in the first couple episodes. And then the 3rd episode was like, oh no, we're going like into really dark places. And it was wrestling with some of that stuff in the first 2 episodes. It was wrestling with grief and with guilt and all of these kind of things. The 3rd episode was like, we kind of teased that this is going to be a dark show. Here, it's a dark show. And so I'm hoping that it continues with that, because that got really interesting for me. My biggest complaint, outside of the dialogue being a little wonky in places, is that nobody talks about the fact, and I understand they live in the MCU, so things are weird, but nobody mentions that the Hood is just wearing a hood around. Like, he looks like he got a cloak from the thrift store for a Renaissance festival. And like, they're all gangsters. Like, they're all, not to give too much away, but she, like, I think that's in the trailers and stuff. Like, him and his crew are all gangsters, and he's just rocking around in a Ren Fair hood, and not a single person that he interacts with is like, yo, what's with the Renaissance fair get
That
up?
would be such a funny, like, cutaway. It's like he's like being super serious and dark and mysterious, and it's like the other gangster like, dude, check him out. What's up with him?
Yeah, truly. I'm like, why is nobody saying anything? And I understand, like, his crew, maybe he's not going to say anything because they've seen it for a while. But he interacts with people he hasn't interacted with yet, and they just accept that he's wearing a Ren garb. Like, he is the nerdiest villain I've ever seen.
Well, it's probably a true life villain.
Yeah. And I can't remember that actor's name. He was in Twisters, and then he was in Hamilton. Amazing actor. Even with the lines, like, since some of the writing was bad, like, even if when the writing's bad, he still sends the lines really well. He delivers them really well.
That's funny.
But yeah, he's just like you said, like, literally, wearing this hood, trying to be all dark and mischievous. And it's like he's wearing normal clothes and then the Ren Fair garb, the Ren hood, and it makes no sense. Like, not a single person's gonna call him out on this. They should have had at least one. they're all like, "What's going on with the hood? Does it have dark mystical powers?" Because obviously it does. And I'm like, no one else is gonna ask why he's wearing. So dumb. Anyways.
I'm just still imagining an office like show where it just keeps cutting over and they're like doing an interview in front of a window. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like he went away for a little bit and came back, and all he wears is a hood.
Yeah.
And they're all like full
that said,
tattoos and like
literally, it's a whole thing. You have no idea. All I know is if I become a supervillain, I have my garb ready. I have my clothes.
full Viking outfit.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wear a cloak.
Oh, just a cloak. Okay.
And a t-shirt and jeans, and I'll be just like the hood.
Cody, tell the
Yeah.
truth. You'd wear your leather pants.
I would wear my leather pants. It's true.
No
I also
shirt,
have like a purple
leather
corset
pants and a
vest.
hood.
That's my Grand Theft Auto character. I think he's literally wearing. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I think my Grand Theft Auto character currently is literally wearing leather pants, a fur vest that looks a lot like Kraven the Hunter's, shirtless, of course, just a fur vest, and then like his hair pulled back.
Cody, that's just your Ren Fair costume.
It really is just me on a Tuesday, guys. But anyways, we can move on. That's awesome. We'll get into the TV. Have you been watching anything else? Or is that it?
That's been it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You watched all the Squid Games though, so that's a lot.
Mhm.
Speaking of Squid Games, there is a guest star at the end of the show that Jonathan knows who that is. I don't know who it is. I don't want to know yet. But apparently it suggests that a season 4 or a continuation of Squid Games is going to happen in some way. Another story that I've seen, and we didn't post this link, I couldn't find it, but I've seen another story that they're making an Americanized version of Squid Games, a United States Squid Games, and so I was kind of questioning whether or not that was going to be in the same universe or not. I feel like this guest star probably answers that one way or the other. Jonathan thinks so too.
My lips are zipped.
Yeah. So I don't know. That can be kind of crazy. It's really weird to think that they're going to do an American Squid Games.
So there's actually a fake roadmap, like a MCU style roadmap that popped up over the weekend. And I was gonna be like, oh, have you seen this? And then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is AI. Like they made it with AI, and it's got a bunch of like misspellings. So it's all fake. But
see,
yeah.
I saw like a casting for Squid Games, the American Squid Games, and I was like, I don't know if that's real or not. Oh, that's important. I don't know if I said that. The American version, from what I've understood, is also rumored, not official. Not officially announced. But the fan cast that I saw was like ridiculous. Like it had Robert De Niro and Interstellar. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but
What's his name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. That's it. I couldn't remember his name. It was driving me nuts. Like that cast sounds ridiculous, but
yeah. Which we should have added this to the movie news, but the book Hail Mary is getting a movie adaptation, and it does not have Matthew McConaughey as Ryan Gosling. Anyway, I don't know why I forgot to add that, but as I was reading about this fake roadmap to continue on to our conversation, it popped up. So, sorry, ADHD. But
so yeah, I guess without doing much spoilers, we really can't talk much more on it. And I guess we'll end the podcast then. Are you geeking out about anything else this week? It seems so sudden.
So the movie I helped produce got distribution, and it's now on Amazon Prime. So,
awesome. Oh, so we can like watch it.
Yeah, it's for rental. It's $2.99 to rent or like $9 to own.
Okay.
I will say disclaimer: it is a horror movie, so
Okay.
um, people aren't down for that.
I'm scared of horror movies.
Um, it's not really like a jump scare style horror movie. It's more like intense, like atmospherical tension. I guess is the right way to.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the right word to explain that, but um, it was fun to make. I get to make
Cool.
some knives and props and did fight choreography, and we got to
Fun.
cut a head
What's it
off
called?
of a. It's called The Forest Through the Trees. So,
You got to cut a head off of what?
so yeah, we had a decapitation. So yeah, I 3D printed a head, and they molded it, and then
Okay.
actually did like hair plugs in it to make it look like an actor, and got the head cut off. And
Wow.
so we were using an air tank trigger, so when the head came off, it like spewed blood, and it was over pressurized. There's too much psi, and so the first take almost ruined the set, and it
Oh
was just
no.
like everyone was just covered in blood, and I was sitting outside the window watching this like old cabin, and I'm like watching the scene, and then all of a sudden it was like the window in front of me was just covered in blood, and I was like,
Oh no.
the director, like the camera guys were like dripping in fake blood. We had these like really expensive real bull skulls with their horns and stuff, and like they were super
Mhm.
expensive. That they were loaned to us, and they got covered in fake blood, and like it took forever to get it all out. Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
it's what I'm geeking out about.
That's really cool. I'm not geeking out about anything else this week, so where can they find you at, Jonathan?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok under @DifferentLensMedia.
They can find me on Instagram @Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying. God bless.